dancing in front of me. Tall guy, good looking, in slacks that were just, you know how the crease on the slacks in that time, they're pressed, nicely pressed, and he had white shirt, long sleeves, and he had them folded up just so, just really, really neatly. He was dancing, and he was dancing pretty much back and forth in front of me. So here I was, watching this couple dancing in front of me, and not knowing that across the way sits this man watching me watch the couple. And I smiled. They weren't looking at, the couple wasn't looking at me, but I was looking at this guy, and he was so reminded me of the guy I was engaged to.
Oh.
And I smiled, okay? And so then that dance was over, that piece was over, and another piece starts playing, and Roy gets up and he comes across. He says, he sees this island girl, you know, smiling at him, blah, 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 blah. So he comes and he asks me to dance, and I said, no, and I didn't just say no thank you or no. I said, no, I don't dance to that kind of music.
It was a jitterbug.
Granddaddy always said you were smiling at him.
He was smiling at him.
I was smiling at
Because
him.
he had never before just
Gone across and asked
Would
the girl
he
to
get
dance.
up and walk across the room to some girl? No.
Except she was smiling at him.
He would never ask anybody that he didn't know. Okay, so I was smiling at him. Anyway, so I said, I don't dance to that kind of music, which wasn't quite true because I danced to it, but I only danced with my brother Fred or my uncle Manu, and of course they're in Guam. So he says, thank you, and he walks around and
No, he waited.
No, he stood behind her.
No,
Yeah, but
he was
right
standing.
here.
He was standing in front of me, so he walks around to the side, and he stands there and he waits.
Yeah, but
it's a
it's
couple.
not-
It's a couple chairs down. It's not right next to
Which
me.
he had never, if someone would say
I know.
no,
He would never have
ask
done that.
again.
If you didn't turn it
Except
on,
she was
he
so
wouldn't ask.
sincere that it was she didn't know how to jitterbug. He thought he'd wait for the next song.
So anyway, he stood there, and when the next piece came on, of course it was a slow piece, so he came back and he asked me to dance, and I said yes. You know, I didn't realize. I said, okay, got up, danced with him, and we just danced. The music was ended, we stood, we walked over and stood where he was. I didn't sit, there was only one seat. So we walked and we stood, we continued chatting. We danced and we danced and we danced. The man looks up and he sees it's 10 o'clock. And he says, you know, I make it a habit to go downstairs and have a glass of orange juice at this time. So he said, would you like to join me? My mother should never have let me leave Guam. So I said, okay, this is a stranger. I just met. We went downstairs. We weren't leaving the building, but we went downstairs. We sat, we had orange juice, we talked. And he told me he was a fellow in geography. Dumb me. I didn't know what a fellow was. I thought a fellow was a guy. So I said, you know, he saw that I was perplexed, and he said, yeah, I'm a fellow in geography. I don't teach. I just do research. And I thought, oh, okay. I didn't say that out loud, but I thought, oh, okay. So he says, what courses are you taking? And I tell him, I'm taking this lousy course in geography. I'm a geographer. And he says, who's your professor? And I tell him. And he said, oh, and he said, you know that he's one of the authors of the textbook you're using? And I said, I didn't know that. I tell you, he is the worst. He's the worst lecturer. He is so boring. I didn't tell him at the time, but I stayed awake in his class watching and counting how many people. So anyway, he says to me, who's your lab teacher? And I tell him, and we continue talking. He asks what other classes, etc., etc. He tells me what he's doing research on. We even talk about, Greg system.
Shorthand.
Shorthand, yes. We talked about shorthand. I studied the Greg method and he studied something else. So we started writing, little notes using shorthand, and we'd read it to each other. Okay, we talk about Jamaica, we talk about Guam. After a while, he said, would you like to go back to the dance? So I said, sure. I'm a sure girl. I said, okay. We went back and we danced. And it was midnight. And I didn't lose my slipper, but I didn't get my girlfriend back. She did not come, and she did not come. We waited around until they were close to the place. So they were going to close the union. We left, and we go down the stairs, and you have to kind of walk up a little incline to the bus stop. So we're walking to the bus stop. Oh my goodness. Close your eyes, girls. Those of you who are really young, close your eyes, because don't ever do this. We're walking, and Granddaddy was such a gentleman. I walk, and I'm by the sidewalk, so he just kind of eases me over, and he walks on the sidewalk. Gentleman, right? And as we're walking along, I feel, he touched my hand and was going to take my hand. I pull my hand. Pull my hand away. But then we continue walking, and we're sauntering, we're not rushing. So he takes my hand again, and I didn't pull it back. I let him hold my hand. So we get to the bus stop, and I haven't seen my friends, of course. And he says to me, the bus came, and I was saying goodbye, and he says, I'll call you. And I thought, fine. I just said fine. I got in, and I sat down, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's never going to call me. I didn't even give him my phone number. And little did I know that there's this thing that they call the herd book. And in the herd book, they list every single student's
The
name.
predecessor to Facebook.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
That's where Facebook
Let
came
me
from.
tell you, because it tells you more than
But it
just
was
the
an
student's
actual
name.
book, children.
It was an actual book. And in it, the word book means. And if I'd been smart, I should have gone to the herd book and looked to see if he were married, because it shows if you're married too. But I didn't know anything about the herd book. So I thought, all the way
was not
back to the home where I was
He was
living
engaged.
with a family. I was thinking
Dad was too.
I would never, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Dad was engaged too.
Yes, Granddaddy was engaged too, yes.
They were both engaged.
All these years, my life is a lie.
Granddaddy was engaged to. Engaged to a Chinese.
You came by honestly, huh?
Chinese girl, and that's
maybe I didn't
in
know that.
Jamaica. That's stepping up, from Granddaddy to step up to a real Chinese girl. Her parents are both Chinese, directly out of China. Anyway, so I was afraid that he wasn't going to call me. So
Mommy was very sad.
I was sad, really, because he was we had such a nice visit, etc., etc. So anyway, this is a Friday night. Come Monday night, which is when I had my geography lab, I had 3 days of lab. I was coming down, Science Hall had all these steps going down. I was coming down the
At the
steps.
University of Wisconsin in Madison.
Yeah, coming down the steps, and I look over to my right, and here comes this guy that I had met at the dance.
Happened to be
Oh,
walking along at that time.
what's the term? Serendipity. Oh, how serendipitous. Here comes this guy walking down, and I walk down, and I walk towards him because that's towards the bus.
Okay, pause. That's not the way I picture it. I picture it as a 1950s movie, and Mom's got her dress and her hair is flopping as she skips down the stairs to Daddy across the street. 1950s movie.
Yes,
I know you were in a dress. You didn't wear pants.
He was standing right out of class.
Well, he just
I was going down the
coming
steps, and
across.
he was coming from his apartment. And he was
Granddaddy
coming
didn't
over.
need the herd book because he had asked her what classes
Yeah.
she was taking.
So he knew she would be there.
She would be coming to class.
So he knew exactly. Right?
This young island girl thought, it's fate.
So one time in Granddaddy's life that he was on time.
He was on time.
When it counts.
So anyway, we meet under this tree, you know, beautiful tree, and we meet there and we start chatting. And he asks me, he says, this is Monday night, and he says the International Club dance is every Friday, which I already knew. Would I like to go to the dance with him? And I kind of looked, you know, not sure what go to the dance with him means. So he quickly changed and he said, would you like to meet at the dance? And I said, yes. Then he said, on Saturday, there's a group here from London. They are playing Midsummer Night's Dream right in the Union. And I've been in the Union. I've never been to a play other than school play in Guam. And so, I thought that would be exciting. So I said yes.
And Daddy says, she kept saying yes, so I kept asking.
He says the following week there's a semi-formal. Would I like to go with him? And I said yes. And then I thought, oh my gosh, a semi-formal. I didn't bring my prom dress. What am I going to wear? Well, folks, listen to what I did. My mother knew I could sew. I sewed at home. So I call home to RCA because there are no phones in the homes. Call home to RCA and ask if they could give a message to my
RCA
parents.
is what?
RCA is
Where they sell.
Like Western Union.
it was like predecessor to Western Union. And so if my parents could come, you know, to RCA and talk with me later in the week, like in a couple of days, so okay. My parents got the message and to tell them there wasn't anything wrong. So my parents got to RCA and I called and we chatted and that was nice. And I said, Nana, you know, clothes are so expensive here. Do you think I could spend some of the money that I have to get myself a sewing machine? And she said, oh, that'd be good. So I said, well, then I'm going to go down to Sears and Roebuck, we call it. Go down to Sears and Roebuck because I saw a sewing machine that was on sale. And I'll get a sewing machine. So Nana said, oh, that'll be good. Yes, you should do that. Okay, little did she know, I didn't have anything to wear, so I went to Sears and Roebuck, got a portable sewing machine, and made myself a dress. So I could go to this dance in a week and a half from there. Okay, but at any rate, while Roy was asking me to go out, there was a new movie coming out, so we were going to the movie. There was all these things and all the things coming up, and you know, and I just said yes and yes and yes. And later on, I thought, oh my gosh, if my mother had known that, she would have said, Pedro, go and pick up your daughter and bring her home. But yeah.
But Daddy booked her for the whole semester, that
right
day.
there.
I'm not sure if it's exactly the
That's the way he told it.
That's what it was,
I
the
know
whole
that's what he
semester.
said.